What's going on, YouTube fam? It's your man VACAY-J. And if you're new and you're loving the Wu-Tang, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Definitely like, throw down any theories, any comments below if I missed anything. And absolutely, we're going to get into episode 6, the recap of the Wu-Tang American Saga. And absolutely, if you missed episode 5, definitely check out my recap on episode 5. This is titled Protect Your Neck. We're about to go deep into the mind of the RZA. That's right, we're going deep in the mind of the RZA. So we find Bobby, aka the RZA, in the home studio with Power and Divine. And they're going back and forth over what should be the single that they press up, right? What should be the first single that they press up. So Bobby's listening, and Power and Divine, they're like, yeah, Method Man should be the joint. And, Divine is like, nah, but what about Tears? And he's like, yo, I like Tears too. But Method Man, that's for the ladies, he's definitely the star here and everything else like that. So Bobby's listening. He's agreeing with some things and not agreeing with other things. But, he definitely is listening. And they keep going back and forth, really trying to figure this thing out. They're really trying to figure it out. But Bobby's like, yo, listen, we need to do a whole brand new cut. We need to do a brand new song because it needs to be a group thing. It needs to be a group effort, and we need to put that together, a posse cut with everybody on it. So they're like, yeah, Bobby, but, we already got these singles. And he's like, yo, listen, this is what I'm going to do. We needs to be a posse cut, and I'm ready to work on it. So he throws on a beat. And then he starts really going into it, and they're like, okay, well, I guess we got to go now. You're going to get to work. And Bobby then closes his eyes, and now we get time down for the work. So it's 10:22 a.m. Bobby is now going through some records. He's trying to find a sound. He's trying to find that unique sound to create this next single, to create this posse cut. Pulls out the shaft, plays a couple of songs, I definitely could relate to this as a producer myself, pulling out the records. This is what we call digging in the crates, trying to find that sound, going back and forth, listening to all types of music. He pulls out another record. Of course, we love the covers, and of course, we love the music even more. So he's jamming to the music. He's hearing some things, but still, he's not finding exactly what he needs to create this posse cut. Messing around with the SP1200, going back and forth, sampling. This is what we as producers do all day. Now it's 11:45, still nothing. Still, we haven't gotten anything going on. He's listening to some other stuff, and it's still not happening. Pulls out another record. Again, we are digging in the crates, trying to find that sound, manipulating the sound in the SP1200 for those producers out there. So he took a break. He throws on some karate flicks, just trying to get some inspiration. And then he gets a phone call on the Wu-Tang line from Power. And Power's like, yo, I booked the studio for tomorrow, so be ready for tomorrow. And he's like, okay. So he leaves. He goes to the record store. The guy's like, hey, what you looking for? He's like, I don't even know. So Bobby's going through some records. He's trying to find that sound. This is what, again, we call it digging in the crates because we are digging. We are listening to music. We're trying to find inspiration. We're trying to find something that's going to stand out to us that we need to sample, manipulate, and make sound like something totally different. So Bobby is putting in work. He's putting in work because he has to come up with this posse cut. It was his idea. So he leaves that record store and goes to another record store. And he's digging in the crates, of course, looking for more sounds, looking for a record to inspire him. And then he sees one of the dudes. He sees the cat that produced the joint with D Lover, D Nice, back in the day with with Dennis, right? So, they're talking, chopping it up. He's like, yeah, I'm about to go to the studio with these other cats. They're going to love it, man. And he's talking about the song. He's like, yo, that song I did with Dennis back in the day was kind of hot. And, Bobby's like, yeah, it was cool. It was cool. So the dude is trying to hate. He's trying to, be on some like, yeah, I'm better than you in the whole nine. And he's like, yo, if you don't know what you're looking for, it is what it is. So Bobby finds the record. He's like, yes, this is it. He finds the record. Of course, homeboy is looking like, yo, what did he find? What did he find? He's trying to see what record he got to try to use it. So Bobby buys it, goes out. The guy runs over, asks the girl, hey, what did he get? What did he get? She's like, I don't know. I don't know what he bought. So, the guy definitely is like, ah, man, I missed it. He found a dope record, a sample, da-da-da. And then Bobby heads back to the studio. Now Bobby's in the studio. He finds the record, plays the record that he bought at the record store, trying to look for that sound. And he finds something interesting. He finds something real interesting. And he puts on a record. And, of course, we always look at the covers. The covers are definitely inspirational. He throws it on, listens to it. And he's trying to definitely find that sound, going from song to song to song. And he lays back and he listens to the song. And now we go into the mind of the RZA. He is now listening to the music. But as you listen to the music, you are now seeing the music. The music becomes visual. And he's seeing the singers on the album. He's seeing all of the singers and all of the musicians on the album. And what he's doing now is he's breaking down each and every part, the guitar, the bass line, the drummer, the singers. He's dropping the singers out. And this is incredible how they put this together. And I love how they did it. They're giving you a visual of how he is listening to the music. This is dope. And, he's playing the drummer. He drops the drummer out. He drops the other musicians out. And he's like, yeah, I like that. I like how that sounds. And, of course, he's speeding it up, bringing it down. The musicians are like, yo, what are you doing? It's definitely, something dope. And he's looking and searching and really going deep in his mind to be creative. This is the creative process of being a producer. Then we see in his mind, his imagination, his OG, right? OG, when he went down south, letting him know, giving him some good advice, always has been good to him. So he's reminiscing and using his imagination and saying, yeah, you definitely had a great imagination. And this is some great music I used to play for you all the time. So he reminisces on that, how it makes you feel good. Music is about how it makes you feel, right? And, of course, he reminisces of when he was down south with the OG and the family, and he used to be scared of the dark and all this and that. So now he starts speeding up the music, slowing it down, manipulating it and everything else like that. And the OG's like, yo, what are you doing? They don't like that. The musicians don't like that. And he's like, hey, listen, what I'm doing is I'm trying to create a different sound. And use my imagination. So he cuts out everything except for the guitar player, the bass line player, and the drums. And he's like, what are you doing? The guys asked him, what are you doing? He said, well, remember how I was afraid of the dark? I had to be creative. I had to be creative. And, I had to change the way I perceive music in order to create my own sound. And that's exactly what Bobby's doing. He's creating his own sound by manipulating the beats that he's sampling, the musics that he's sampling, and he's cutting things out, bringing it back in, putting filters on it. He's operating. He is operating, and he is right now in the operating room. So he takes that bass player, guitar player, doubles it up, and then he manipulates it, filters it out, makes it sound totally different, right? And that's what he's doing right now. He's trying to find that sound, puts on another record, right? So he sampled the guitar part. Now he's putting on another record, and he puts on the Honey Drippers. And for those beat makers, those producers out there, anybody that knows the Honey Drippers, it's that percussion sound, that beat that everybody in the hip hop industry used, right? So he cuts out every part except for the drummer part, right? Except for the drummer part. And salute to Marley Marl. They mentioned Marley Marl and how Marley Marl, producer from back in the day, he produced Big Daddy Kane, Biz Markie, all of that. The Honey Drippers shout him out. So Bobby is now manipulating the sound. He's getting the old Honey Dripper record. He's still kind of like, I can't find that sound. He puts on another record, and then he manipulates the beat, makes it a little more dirty. And he likes how that sounds. It's sounding a little more dirty. and he's like, oh, the drummer's like, what's that about? Why you got this other drummer here? So then he's now being the composer of the symphony, putting each and every part together. Now he comes back to his studio, right? Comes back to the studio from his imagination, and now he is manipulating more sounds. And this is what it's all about, family. I mean, it could take hours and hours on producing a record. So now it's tomorrow. We're in the studio with Ethan and Bobby, RZA, and we got the squad in there. We got the chef in there. And, they're just talking about how they're going to make this sound happen and who's going to go first. So Bobby's just definitely, he has everything in mind that he wants to do. So they're ready, The squad is ready. The Wu-Tang, they're ready to get in there. Ray is like, all right, I'm ready to go. I got my rhymes ready. I'm ready to go. And, he's still like, okay, everybody's not here, but we're gonna start this off. But each and every person is gonna get a chance to go in there and slay the track, right? So they're ready. They definitely, some of them are ready, some of them are not ready. They've been writing rhymes all day. And they're like, yo, let me get in the booth. Let me get in the booth. I'll jump in first. Method Man's like, I'll jump in first. And Bobby's like, nah. Nobody's going in until I say you go in. I know exactly who's going to go first, second, third. So just be ready with your rhymes to slay the beat. And we're going to make this thing happen, right? So, of course, he's like, Deck, you're up first. Inspector Deck, you're up first. And, of course, Gary comes through, the Jizza, and they ready. But he's like, yo, Jizza, you going to go last. Don't even worry about it. So Dennis comes to the studio, and he's like, yo, what's all this? He looks a little intimidated by all the equipment and everything. And he's looking at, Ethan, and he's like, yo, who's this? And Bobby's like, yo, come in, man. It's time to make this thing happen, man. This is different. He's right. And Dennis is like, yeah, this is way different than from the crib. This is, it's something about the studio that's intimidating Dennis, right? So he's like, yo, just come on through. This is Ethan. Don't worry about it. He's like, oh, what do you do, Ethan? Oh, I'm the engineer. So he's looking. He's seeing Inspector Deck getting ready to set. He's like, yo, sit down, man. You need to write some new rhymes. We about to happen. But it seems like, again, Dennis is intimidated. So Inspector Deck, he's in there. He's writing his rhymes. And now we go into the mind of Inspector Deck. And Deck, he's a graffiti artist, so of course he is spraying up his lyrics, right? This is super dope how they did this, right? How they put all this together. He's spraying up his lyrics, spraying up his name. He's writing his rhymes on a pizza box. And yeah, he writes his first rhyme, I smoke on the mic like smoking Joe Frazier, right? He's getting into it. It's like, yeah, he's figuring out all his lyrics, and it's dope how we go into the mind of these cats. And he writes his whole rhyme, sprays his whole rhyme, and then he breaks through the wall like Kool-Aid, like the old Kool-Aid man. He's like, yeah, It was dope, though. I like how he did it. But now we in the booth outside of his mind, and he's spitting the lyrics to the Protect Your Neck joint. He's going in. Inspector Deck, always dope. Fire with the lyrics. ODB is like, man, he's slaying the track. And that's exactly why he was first on that song. So, of course, Ray is cheering them on. They're all cheering each other on. They're like, oh, what I'm saying? It's nice. You nice with the lyrics. So everything's coming together so far. So far, so good. But, they're like, okay, who's going to be going next? Of course, he's like, yo, Dennis, you want to go next? He's like, nah. So he says, yo, Chef, Raekwon, you up. So Raekwon goes on. And I like how they put this together. The cinematography and everything that they did is super dope. He's walking on a block as his lyrics are appearing, as he's spitting those rhymes, is flying in the air, and all of that. So I like how they did it. I like how they kept the hip hop. He's definitely spitting that fire. Listening back to the track, it's sounding real dope. People are loving it. Everybody in the booth is loving it. Yeah, so they're like, yo, Dennis, you next. Ray. Bobby's like, yo, you next. He's like, I'm not ready. Whoever's next can go ahead and do it. So Bobby's listening to it, listening back to it. He's like, okay, I like what I'm hearing so far. He heard Inspector Deck's part, right? He's like, yeah, that's dope. And he's listening to Raekwon's joint, but Raekwon's joint's not really coming through the way that he wants it. So he's getting a little frustrated, like, I like how it sounds, but, it needs something else. It needs something else. Something is missing. Don't know what it is. He's trying to pinpoint what it is. And he's talking to Ethan, the engineer, and he's like, yo, there's something about this. I don't know. So he's like, all right, Dennis, you up? And Dennis is like, nah. Go ahead to the next person. Go to the next person. And he's again, he's not really in the right mind state to really write rhymes in the studio for whatever reason. So he's like, yo, what's going on? We need to make this thing happen, man. You know what I'm saying? So, they still listening to the joint, they enjoying it and everything. But Bobby's like, yo, what are these lyrics, man? You wrote these lyrics when you was 13. You need to take this serious, man. Don't be clowning around with the lyrics. Take it serious. So of course, Dennis, he's like, yo, what's going on? He closes his eyes, and now he sees the mic in a container, right? He sees it in his own booth. He's walking around, but he's like looking at the other cats, looking at the other rappers. They looking at him. So he's looking at this as like a battle, right? It's like a battle scene, and he's walking up to the mic. He's walking up to the mic, and he's seeing all the rest of the guys. They're all in hoods, and of course he sees Raekwon like, yo, you nice? What's up? You think you nice? And he's like, what? What's up with that? You know what I'm saying? So he's approaching it like, yo, it's a battle. But at the same time, he's real intimidated by how the process is working in the studio, right? So, Bobby's like, yo, I want Dennis to go next. But he's like, go ahead, Meth. Go ahead, Meth. And Meth is like, all right, it's about time. I've been ready to jump in the booth. I've been ready. So Meth goes in the booth. He's laying it down. Raekwon, they all loving it, enjoying it. And Dennis is still trying to figure out his lyrics. He's still trying to write some stuff down. And Bobby, again, he's listening back to the joint, but something is missing. He's like, maybe we should wrap this up. Ethan's like, maybe we should wrap this up and do some new lyrics. And he's like, nah, you know what it is? It's the beat. It's the beat. I figured it's the beat. So he's like, yo, you want to do the beat over? He's like, not right now. You got studio time set. So ODB comes back in the door with some new lyrics. He's like, yo, I wrote them on the roof. Ethan's like, you shouldn't be on the roof. But he's like, yo, this is dope. Jump in there. So now ODB, Asan, he's in the booth now, and they show him in his mind spitting the lyrics. He's riding around with some drawers and all of that. But he's kicking it, right? It's part of Protect Your Neck. If you haven't heard Protect Your Neck, go to 36 Chambers of Wu-Tang. Listen to that whole song. And he kills it, right? ODB kills it on Protect Your Neck. So everybody is like, woo, right? They hype about it. It's going down. It's coming out real dope. So, it's a lot of great energy in the air. The Wu-Tang is finally coming together. They're recording the way they want to. He turns around. Dennis is gone. He's like, yo, what happened to Ghostface? What happened to Dennis? Where'd he go? Next thing you know, we cut to another scene. Dennis went home. Now he's holding the baby, and he's reciting his rhymes at the same time. Again, I guess it was too noisy in that studio for him. He needed another space, a safe space to write his rhymes. So he's kicking rhymes and holding the baby at the same time. The baby's waking up the baby, dropping his lyric book, waking up the baby at the same time. I mean, he's trying to really get this thing down. And you see him right there holding the baby, spitting lyrics, waking up the baby. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. He's holding the baby. He's like, what's going on? So, of course, baby girl comes through and she's like, hey, let me get the baby. He's like, I'm sorry. I woke up the baby. I was just trying to take care of the baby and let you get some rest. And she's like, it's okay. She calms the baby down, the whole nine. He's like, yo, I'm trying to get these lyrics down. And she's like, yo, go ahead and do what you got to do. But before you go to the studio, I love you too and all that. Before you go to the studio, take care of the baby's bottle, right? So he's in there still practicing his lyrics and all of that. So now, out of the studio, Bobby's back in the home studio, all right? And he's trying to figure out the sound still. Even though he got a good sound, he's now trying to change the beat because the beat is not going exactly how he wants it with all the cats with them laying it down. So he has their lyrics. He's taking out the beat. He's trying to figure out another way to create the beat around the lyrics now, just so it goes. So he goes back into his mind, of course, his imagination, and now he's listening to Method's part, and he's freezing Method's part, and he's playing, and he's trying to figure it out. Again, sometimes when you create a beat and artist lays it down, sometimes you got to go back to kind of reproduce the record. You know, you got to make it even better. So we see this funny part here where he's freezing Method, and Method's like, "Yo, you gonna let me rap? You gonna let me finish my verse? Like, what's going on?" You know, and he's playing different instruments, different music, and Method's getting mad at the musicians. I mean, it's definitely a creative episode where a lot is going on. Like it looks like real life, but it's all within his mind. And he's like, all right, hold it right there. He's trying to, again, piece everything together. Dennis comes through. He's like, yo, what are you doing? Why are you changing the beat? He's like, yo, it's the beat, man. The beat needs to be updated, needs to be changed just so it can become better. He's like, yeah, you went missing of it, at the studio. He's like, yeah, I went home working on the lyrics, man. He's like, okay, okay. He's like, yeah, it was a lot of cats up in there, He's like, oh, so you don't like Ethan the engineer? And he's like, nah, it's not that at all. So again, he was intimidated by the studio a little bit, but now he's at the home studio where he's comfortable. He's sitting down with the RZA, with Bobby, trying to figure out his lyrics. At the same time, Bobby's trying to figure out a new sound, a better sound to go with the lyrics. So they both going back and forth, and Dennis is listening, and Bobby's trying to change some stuff, and Dennis is like, I don't know. So they both working together on this to make it a better song. So they take a break. And of course, what they do, they start watching some kung fu flicks, right? It starts sparking madism, trying to relax, trying to ease their mind, allow their creative processes to happen. And of course, with what they love, which is kung fu flicks. And you know how it is. Friends come together, they joking around, they're relaxing now. It's not as tense as it was before. They're joking, but they got inspiration from the kung fu flicks. And now Dennis got his lyrics down. Ghostface got his lyrics down while Bobby is beatboxing. And now we take a piece of the kung fu flicks and we mix it in with the beat. And that's exactly what the RZA is doing. And now he's mixing the lyrics with the kung fu flicks and the beat. And Dennis is like, oh man, yo, that's the sound right there. That's it. That's the sound right there. He finally gets his lyrics down. So as Bobby developed the beat, Dennis is now developing his lyrics as well, writing his lyrics down. He's playing the keyboard as well with that infamous sound on the Protect Your Neck joint. And then Dennis shows him his lyrics, and Bobby's like, yo, this is it. This is it right here. These are the lyrics. This is what I needed. This is the missing piece. Everybody needs to come together, and Dennis is coming through with the dope lyrics. He's like, yo, it's about time, man. It's about time you got this down. Of course, Dennis is happy, and they all happy. And now, the sound is being developed. Yes, Dennis, Ghostface coming together with Bobby, the RZA, and yes, they're doing it together like old times, like they always do. Now Dennis is in the studio, laying down his lyrics, the infamous lyrics on Protect Your Neck, Protect Your Neck with Ghostface. He's killing it, right? He's killing it on that Protect Your Neck with those lyrics. And of course, Bobby and Ethan, they recording it. It's like, yeah, that's it right there. That's it. It's a whole new sound, whole new sound. So yes, of course, Dennis in his mind, he's like, I'm slaying these MCs right here, because that's what Protect Your Neck was. Each and every one of them was just giving the best lyrics to pretty much battle each other on this posse cut, but they're one group all together, right? So Dennis is killing it. Finally, he's comfortable in the booth, killing it and laying it down the way it's supposed to. Now it's time for Bobby to lay down his lyrics, right? His lyrics, and he's killing it now. He is slaying the Protect Your Neck beat, as you know. And you've heard it all before, but he's going in. I mean, he got all his brothers together, so of course he has to contribute and do his part, and his part, absolutely, he's laying it down. Not only did he create the beat, but also he created his own lyrics as well. And of course, the Wu is in there like, yeah, he's killing it. He's slaying these lyrics, and it's finally coming together. So they coming in like, yo, that's not the same beat that we had before. He's like, Dennis is like, yo, he made it even better. It's even doper now. You know, it's definitely even doper now. So they agree, and everything is coming together the way it's supposed to. So Divine and Power come in, and Power's like, yo, I ain't never heard nothing like that before. Never heard nothing like that. See that right there? Yeah, that's the one right there. That's the one. So Power's excited about it. You know, Divine is excited about it. And here we go. Gary comes through the door, the Jizza, and he told the Jizza, he said, yo, you gonna be last. He said, yeah, save the best for last. Like, yo, what was you doing? Yo, I was watching, you know, a whole bunch of movies, the dragon movies. I was watching a whole bunch of dragons, you know, dragon this, dragon that. And now it's time for me to come in and do my thing. I'm ready. You know, I'm ready. So they thought he was saying, yeah, he was hanging out all day. But of course, the genius, he gets in there and he slays it, right? Slays it, and he does his thing. He definitely, you know, this is Chillin' Records. That's the record label he was on. He called it Cold Killing Records. You remember the song. You remember Protect Your Neck. But the Jizza is doing his thing, laying it all down. So Power and Divine is like, yo, what you think? What you think? Divine is like, what do you think about it? And Power's like, yo, we gonna press this tomorrow. They like, yeah, protect your neck. We about to do it. We about to slay it all up. The genius is still killing it. And you know it. If you haven't heard Protect Your Neck, go ahead and listen to Protect Your Neck. Now, we have all come down to this point where we have created the first single, which is Protect Your Neck by Wu-Tang, the posse cut that changed the game, that also changed the industry. We never heard anything like that before, ever. So this is the recap of episode 6, the Wu-Tang American Saga. Again, we finally are into the music now. Protect Your Neck, the first posse cut that changed the industry. Absolutely. I remember when it came out. Definitely dope. History in the making. History still. Yes, they did their thing. Wu-Tang forever, right? Again, so you know what it is. Look out for episode 7 as we recap that. And absolutely, you know what it is. It's your man, VACAY-J. I'm out. Salute.